It's been about 2 months now since we've gotten this WK2, and I just want to share some initial thoughts. First off, it is super comfortable. It is super nice inside. Really nice features inside. We have the limited edition, and it came with tow hooks on the front, and the front car distance control sensor, which is nice. I think it feels like not quite the next model up, but not like your basic limited. It seems like the previous owner added a couple of things just to maybe meet in the middle between this one and the next model up. So here's some of the things I don't like. It's not as comfy in the back as I expected it to be in terms of space. We have 2 car seats back there, and when both kids are back there, their feet easily reach the back of the front seats, which is not ideal, especially since they can get a little rowdy. So they like to kick the seats a lot. And if your head is on the headrest at all, it's like a very uncomfortable massage there. The other thing I don't particularly like is the cargo space in the back. Now, I have a Commander, and when the seats are up, the third row seats, you have maybe, a foot of cargo space in the back. With the back seats down, you add about another, 4 feet maybe. With this is only, 2 rows, there's no third row. But it is kind of tight in there. So we have a car seat that was in my work van that's back there, and then one of those Veer wagons, which is an awesome product. But just those 2 things back there, and the cargo is stuffed. The other thing I don't particularly like is I thought we would get better gas mileage. Now, we did trade in a 2007 Honda CR-V. And at the time, we were only averaging about 14 miles per gallon in the city. And with this being a 2015, speaking of Commander, I kind of expected that we would get a little bit higher. But right now, we're at 15.9, almost 16, which, isn't terrible, but I thought we would get just a little bit better. It does come with a few other options for your drivetrain. You have your eco mode, which has some shifty, no pun intended, has some interesting shift behavior with the transmission. And if you take it out of eco mode, the shift behavior becomes a little bit more erratic. So those are kind of things that when my wife and I were test driving, kind of felt, that's kind of strange, but whatever, we can deal with that. Now, this is the wife's daily driver, so I drive this car maybe once or twice a week, if that. But I just love it. Some of the things I absolutely love. I love the remote start, especially now that Portland's getting a little cold. I love just waking up in the morning, doing the push start, and having it just go. I do love that it comes with the heated steering wheel. That's awesome. Heated seats, of course. The rear view sensor and camera is super sensitive, but I like it. It's nice. It also comes with the brake detect, so if your foot is not on the brake and a car in front of you is stopping or slowing down, it'll beep at you and flash red lights, in the computer console here, brake. And does the same thing with the automatic distance control when you have it on cruise control, which is awesome. I just love the interior. I would use my phone right now to show you, but it's on a RAM mount and I'm still driving, and I don't want to, hands free. So, leather interior. I love the dash. Excuse me. We have some really dark wood paneling, and in the center, we have like this pearl, I think, pearl colored trim. That's not really for me, but I think my wife likes it, so it doesn't matter to me all that much. We did put some Wild Peak, the Falcon's Wild Peak AT3s on here, just like we have on the Jeep Commander. But those on the Commander are Class C, Load C, and these are just your regular Load E ratings. So, the tires aren't as heavy, which is good because it saves just a little bit of gas mileage right now. On the Commander, we get about 12 to 13, which, it's our overland gear, or rig. And I suspect that'll get much worse once we get the bumpers on. We just have factory bumpers right now, and on that vehicle, we are going to get steel front and rear bumpers. But that's for a different video. This is just the WK2. I love the panoramic, full-length sunroof, and it is really awesome, especially when it's dark. When it's really dark outside, you can just pull the shade open and get, some nice ambient light from the stars, when there's not too much cloud cover. And I like that you can kind of half close it. So if you don't want the whole thing open, there's a separator right here. So if it'll close just to here, so it'll shade the back seat. And if that's still too much, it'll fully close. I like the ride comfortability. It's the CRV was a little too small. If you've ever been, at least that year, I'm not sure what other years were like, but it felt like going over little bumps and stuff, you could really feel the suspension going. And we had just replaced it, so it wasn't like we had bad steering components. For some reason, every nook and cranny of a bump or anything on the road, you could totally feel, and didn't feel that great. So this is definitely a step up. There are some different traction modes. So we have it in auto, obviously. There are mud, rock, sand, and snow. Because we have our Commander, this probably won't see a lot of off-road use, if any. Oh, excuse me. This will probably most likely see a little bit of snow that's on the ground naturally, and then a lot of rain. What else can I tell you about this car? You can have the option to do some different suspension modes or mods. Rough Country does, your basic bolt-on spacer lift. I actually have a spacer lift for the XK and WK that I was gonna put on the Commander, but I went with a different setup. So I'm gonna call Rough Country and say, hey, can we switch these out? Now, the ride height or the car height is definitely a lot higher than the CRV was. I mean, just the tires difference themselves is a big difference. And I'm not sure if my wife would appreciate another 2.5 inches of lift, but I'm just gonna reach out to Rough Country anyway and see, hey, can we maybe switch these out? Other than that, so other than the gas mileage, which I thought we'd get better, but it is a large tank, and we average around 370 miles to the entire tank, whereas a CRV, was about 100 miles less, but it was also like 10 gallons less. So it is what it is. And the limited amount of cargo space, those two things are kind of like the big drawbacks. The other kind of drawback is the radio panel. Now that I'm at work, I can actually show you. See, this is the radio panel, and you could do all your stuff here, like your climate control radio. We could also have the same thing here. I'm not a fan of the redundancy. Some people might be, but for me, it's kind of just have it one place or the other. But again, it's not my car, so it's not my daily driver, so it's not. I can't really complain. Heated seats are awesome. I love just driving this car. It is, whether it's in eco mode or out of eco mode, it just feels nice. We test drove a Mercedes GL, I think 450. We even test drove the Wrangler Unlimited 4-door and Honda Pilot, and the Pilot definitely had the best ride. The Mercedes had, it's a Mercedes, so it had all the features that you would want, but gas mileage was nowhere near what this is. It was even higher ride height. It did have third row, so it had a little bit more room. It had the air suspension, and we kind of thought, if one of those components broke down, that would be quite the cost to fix. The Wrangler just did not feel, luxurious at all. And we weren't looking for a luxury car, but my wife was not in the market for another, off-roading rig. So this is, a very, very good medium to the wife's comfort level and daily driver, and the potential to traverse off-road if we ever needed it. And so, if you are in the market for a Jeep and don't like the ruggedness of, the Wrangler, the Grand Cherokee is a very good option. I didn't test drive the Compass, but for our needs, it wasn't going to work. It's just too small. Same thing with the regular Cherokee. It was just too tight in there. And if we're having space issues with 2 kids and 2 dogs, the other 2 cars were just non-options. So, I'll get out and do a little walk around on the vehicle. This is it. It's a little dirty. Falcon tires. I feel like I'm saying a bad word. Falcon. I'll say Falcon. 4x4 Limited. Came with a tow package. It's definitely a really sleek car. I love it. Trail rated. And then these are, their front toes, and that's your sensor. So I think if we're gonna mod anything, I like to black out the grill inserts here. But again, it's all dependent on what the wife will let me do to the car, which it doesn't need a whole lot. So, if you're in the market for a new Jeep, and you don't want, the Wrangler, and you need a little bit more space than the Cherokee, the Grand Cherokee is definitely a great option. No car is perfect, but this one definitely suits our needs. So, there you go.